Hey guys, so I'm on my way to Shireen's place right now, and I just thought that I should just do a little video to show you two things. One is a vlogging setup that I'm trying out. The other is I'm trying to show you guys an alternative personal mobility device that I have aside from the usual skateboard, which is the Ninebot Segway. So I'm taking a slightly longer route this time because I got quite a lot of ground to cover. So the key reason I switched over to this Ninebot is because truthfully, honestly speaking, I kind of fucked up the modification of my skateboard, trying to change for a bigger mounting plane, and as a result I couldn't get a proper timing belt that was tight enough without the use of an idler. Pretty much I fucked up the whole set lah, and then I gave up modifying the skateboard. Excuse me. Because the stock ones that you buy on the internet, the Meepo board and all that, they're nice, they do their job well, but there's always like one or two little things that are not good enough. Like for example, the Meepo board is great, but it's so scary trying to break in it because there's always like this harsh delay and then it suddenly zoom up, which causes people to fly off the board, and that's dangerous, right? And then like you got the DIY ones, they're great if you know what they're doing, because you gotta touch up this, change that, modify this, add an idler so it doesn't slip. If not, you gotta go for a double motor setup, and that's not very money wise as well. And then you gotta tweak the VESC and all that stuff. But this, I just do it. So right now I'm riding along park connector linking from Hougang all the way to Ang Mo Kio, which will take another park connector to get over to Bishat, which is where I'm meeting Shireen right now. So on the park connector, the top speed for personal mobility devices, PMDs, is at 25 kilometers per hour. Unfortunately, this brings me to the point of one of the disadvantages of this device. On paper, it says its top speed is about 18 kilometers per hour, but realistically, you're looking at about 17. Because one of the reasons I don't like to hit the top speed is because of this. So once it hits the top speed, right? Once it hits the top speed, the device will beep, and to make things worse, it will force your device to tilt backwards, and it's a very uncomfortable kind of tilt, which works as a speed limiter, but it's so freaking annoying because you're just trying to stay at the top speed, but instead of what it does is it goes top speed and then it forces you back down to like 16 kilometers. What's up with that, bro? So one thing to note about the Ninebot is that it's a lot more stable. The wheels are much bigger, so it's able to handle like bumps and stuff much better. But at the same time, because of the configuration of the wheels, is on the left and right. So if you're riding on like curved areas and all that, whereby it causes the Ninebot to go this way, you have to ride sideways, which is very uncomfortable. Sometimes if you're going too fast, the board actually tries to throw you off balance. But if you know how to maneuver around that, dude, that's actually a fucking nice device to go around. I would call this a perfect urban mobility device. Because of the way that the concrete jungle is built, it's not always going to be smooth roads for you and me, for me to like ride a skateboard along and not have to worry about falling over and stuff like that. And like, especially in like HDB environments, you got so many hard turns and left and rights, and this is able to do that perfectly. I can do 180 degree spin, no worries, and I'm still on the board. I don't have to get off, I don't have to move, I don't have to do anything. Like right here, I can just do this, and I'm still on the board. Like heck, I can even do a 360 spin on it. So I've been riding this for about close to a few months already, and I think I got the hang of it. It's quite intuitive to me lah, but I guess learning curve, if that's the concern. The first time I rode on it wasn't exactly the most stable. It's kind of like a Humpty Dumpty situation, if my girlfriend put it that way. Because I was getting on and then the thing was like swinging back and forth, which is super scary. But I guess once you like loosen up, get used to it, it's much easier that way. Then now, I think the best way I can describe this experience is that you're kind of like Iron Man, Mark 1 or Mark 2 with the thrusters on your foot, and then you're just gliding like that. And then when you need to slow down, you just put your thrusters to the forward and then push it back. It's much easier that way. And then if you're thinking like, yeah, but it's just a hoverboard, isn't that gonna explode and all that? Dude, that's a whole different level. This is next level. When you're on a hoverboard, right, the way you turn is by leaning your foot, your left and right foot forward and backwards, right? This one is different. This one turns using your knees. There's a bar in the middle and then you push to the left and right. And then you turn left and right. It's very intuitive. It's almost like doing the bendy thing and then you turn. If you're going fast and you want to make a sharp turn, you can always lean into it like an ice speed skater of sorts. And you lean into it, it becomes like almost like you're gliding along. A little bit like rollerblading, like I said. And then when you're turning, it's very stable. You won't get thrown off, especially if you're used to leaning into the turn. It makes a lot of difference. I mean, you don't get the surfing vibe of like when you're on an e-skate. It doesn't cruise, it doesn't carve the way an e-skate does, but I mean, it's a nice trade-off. I don't have to get off the board, pick it up, and then turn it around when I need to make a sharp turn, a 90-degree turn like I used to do with that. The turning is so small that you never have to actually get off the ninebot unless you really want to. There's some pros and cons of this setup. I mean, the HDB environment, of course, that's why I'm speaking a bit softer right now. But the idea is that with the new ruling about PMDEs and all that kind of stuff, they are limiting the top speed of our devices to about 10. It's really slow, like stupid slow. I mean, the truth of the matter is anyone, even if you're trying to ride a normal bicycle, even if you're just gliding along, try keeping at 10 kilometers per hour on a bicycle or on a straight device. You're never going to be stable. You will be wobbling around, and in fact I feel that makes things a lot more dangerous because they are more likely to fall off your bike or whatsoever. You're more likely to crash into people because of that. Previously it was 15, that was fine, but now that it's down to 10, it's ridiculous. And then I did a bit of testing around, and then like I tried riding slow. I tried riding like 10 kilometers on this one. Fuck, I can go 5 kilometers, I can go 1 kilometer, no problem. I'm stable as fuck. This is the device of the current LTA feature lah. So I decided to turn into the HDB area to avoid like the track next to the MRT because the route is really tight and it's very tricky to go. But it's also a good chance for me to like showcase something I like about this device. So if you see forward right now, it's a very steep climb and it's very tricky for like smaller devices to go along. This go up to like 30 degrees of climb with ease, no problem. Of course, one thing to note is that when you're going up and down the slope, you are still upright. So sometimes it can become a bit of a weird sensation because you're standing upright, things going up. It almost feels like you want to lean forward, but if you lean forward, there's a chance you'll fall off. Or rather, you lose balance and then you jump off the board. Oh yeah, something extra to note is that this device, it's a total pain to carry because it's very awkward in shape and size, as well as width. Now going down the slope, you can feel like it's dropping at a slow rate. I think that's the best way I can describe it. One thing to note is that it's not great against like going up curbs and stuff like that. It has a limit of like 2 cm if I'm not wrong, or 2 inches. Anything beyond that, you're more likely to get thrown off the ninebot. So I'm on my way to meet Shireen, who's living in Bishan, and I live in Hougang. That's about 13 kilometers of distance. This thing handles that, no worries, back and forth, because the For the battery listed on the device, it goes to about 30 kilometers on a full charge. Although you have to take note that on the last third or last quarter of the battery, it limits your top speed, so it gets really annoying when you're trying to get your way home on the last bit of juice. So I tend not to want to touch that bit of battery left lah. One thing to note, and I think is pretty important, especially if you're not from Singapore, is that the infrastructure in Singapore is pretty good for like mobility devices. If you look at it, right, Singapore has the smoothest roads, best pedestrian ways. Everything has a slight slope or not. You're not going to have to like worry about getting into like little cracks on the floor and that kind of stuff. So this makes the overall riding, even if you're not on a Ninebot or whatsoever, it makes the overall riding of PND so much more enjoyable. And that's one thing I feel is important when deciding on a device like this, because now I can ride this 3D, but I don't know if I want to bring this along with me if I'm riding along like Thailand or that kind of stuff, because the roads there are rough, man. I'm deliberately taking this path because I don't normally like this, but I just want to demonstrate to you like how tricky the road conditions can be if you're on like the sidewalks and then the roads are bending to the side, it's sloping sideways. So I'll just show you in a bit once I get to that. It's basically a bus stop. Take note of your maximum height, especially if you're a tall guy. I'm pretty short, but I still got to bend my head. At night it's pretty alright because there are like ambient sensors on the Ninebot which will detect how much light is around the area, and you will turn off the lights. But they're mostly to light up the path, but it's actually good enough to like tell people in front or behind that they are coming. The back bottom of the Ninebot, they have like ambient lighting with different kinds of effects to play around with. That also has like turning indicators and brake indicators that change light based on turning and braking. The Ninebot, while it's very small and it's very easy to bring around, it's not like the perfect thing to be dragging along a crowded mall and stuff like that. So sometimes you just really want to be able to lock it up to the bike rack and that kind of stuff, and this one doesn't really allow you to do that. It does have like security features whereby you can go to the app, lock it, buy software, and then if anyone tries to move in and all that, you start beeping and then you start resisting the direction of the pull. The way that this device is shaped, there's no way that you can actually lock it up to the bike stands and all that. There's no way that you can chain it. There's no loop for you to lock it into. So I'm reaching Shireen's place pretty soon, so I thought I'm gonna just end it here. Let me know your thoughts on this device, if you like it, if you're gonna buy it, if you already own it, what do you like or dislike about it. Let me know. Put it in the comments. Like, share, whatever fuck you wanna do lah. Fuck you lah. Hey, what are you doing to my camera? Ow. Don't show me your butt got hole. Spray your butt then, you know. Let me spray your butt. He jumped on your bed. He jumped on your bed again.